Alright, what's up YouTube? My camera cut off. Don't know why. Now I'm having to start over. So, as I was saying, which I'm going to have to repeat anyway, this car here is a 73 Nova. I've named it Black Widow. I sold my boat and basically poured every penny into this car. This car, me and my dad bought in halves on, and we were supposed to go in halves on building it. But after I finished my 350Z back there, but the same week he was going to rewire it, he passed away of sudden cardiac. So, at 49 years old. So I decided to take it upon myself to finish it. March 20th of 2020 is when he died. March 20th of March 21st of 2021 was the first time I was actually able to drive it. I made a few videos of building the motor and stuff like that. It took some work. The motor, I probably should have made more videos on, but the transmission and the rear end I did not make videos on because I had so many problems with it, because it was my first time building either one of them. Motors I know how to build all day long. Transmissions and rear ends was my first time building one. The transmission, I had trouble with a few C-clips and getting the pump back into the transmission. That was a battle. And then trying to make sure I had everything set just right. You know, it was, like 100% focus type thing. And then the rear end, building it wasn't hard. It was just trying to get the gear mesh right and the pinion depth set right. That was the hard part. I don't have a pinion depth gauge. I highly recommend, if you ever want to build a rear end, get you one. But if you ever want to build something that you ain't never built before, I highly recommend getting these two books, because they definitely helped me. It's got a lot of detailed information, and it's the only reason why I was able to even build my transmission for this car. It works, real good. The only thing I gotta do is get me another shift cable, because I had to rig this one up to get it to select all the gears right. And I could select all my gears except for first. I cannot get my shifter to go in the first, but all my gears work: first, second, third, reverse, and they all shift just fine. So I'm gonna put the phone down and I'll show y'all everything that I've done. Okay, so let me get some light in here. Okay, so what I went with was a small block 400, exactly 400 cubic inches, which comes out to 6.6 in a small block form. Went with a 750 CFM 4-barrel double pumper hollow carburetor, which I desperately need to tune, because this car drinks way too much. I went 10 miles down the road and back and drank half a tank, which my 10-gallon cell, that's about 5 gallons. So that is like way too much. So I definitely have to tune it. I need to jet down some on the carburetor for sure. I upgraded the brakes to vented cross-drilled hole rotors with ceramic pads. Placed all my ball joints, my tie rod ends, the tie rod end sleeves, adjuster sleeves that you can, get your alignment with. Did the alignment myself using a tape measure. I have 75cc combustion chamber heads, 200cc intake runners, 75cc exhaust ports, and they're aluminum heads, of course. I ran with Wiseco forged pistons, 13cc domes, Wiseco forged pistons. Went with Eagle forged rods, 6-inch rod. Went with a Scat forged crank. So basically the entire motor's forged. All the internals, everything. Went with roller tip rocker arms. Went with a comp cam, nitrous cam with a 113 lobe separation, a 525 exhaust lift, a 507 intake lift with a I can't exactly remember the duration on it. I can't remember the duration of 50. I'd have to get the box. It's a lot of numbers to try to remember when it comes to cams. Replace my brake master cylinder. Replace that. Replace the proportion valve because I did a disc brake conversion kit on the rear end. I had to buy 2 sets of headers. The first set was midway headers, would not fit at all. Now I bought these long tube headers. The pipe is a little bit smaller, but the flange is bigger, so it allows my exhaust port to flow better. Whereas the midway headers, which had bigger pipes, the flange was smaller, which wouldn't allow it to flow any good. So these headers are a little bit better. Had some issues with the timing, right? I had it set too low. Had to crank it up some. I had a 35 gallon per minute, a 35 gallon electric water pump. This is a 55 gallon electric water pump. Billet housing. I gotta get a shorter radiator hose because at first with the old pump I had my hose up here because it wasn't going to clear the harmonic balancer. So got this pump and it actually clears the harmonic balancer. Got a big electric fan with the fan shroud. Got a fuel pressure gauge. Got 2 fuel pressure regulators. This one's for the nitrous system. I'm running that fuel pump deadhead, so there's no return. This is another fuel pressure regulator for the motor, and I'm running a return on that. So, and then the entire fuel system from the carburetor all the way to the fuel tank is an AN fuel system. For the motor, I ran 8 AN from the tank to the pump, and from the pump all the way to the carburetor is 6 AN. For the nitrous system, I ran 8 AN to the pump, 6 AN to the fuel pressure regulator, and then 4 AN to the solenoid for the nitrous system. The compression is 190 psi static compression. I got me a transmission cooler for the transmission. I got me a 1-wire alternator. Ran a billet front pulley kit that had the 8 groove belts that you can put on it. Dual core aluminum radiator. Ran flex pipes on it. I got a line lock which ain't hooked up yet. Still got some bugs and they'll work out. All my sensors are electric. Going to the wheels. These wheels, I got the tire and wheel kit, front and back, $1,400 off of Jegs. Came with the rims, the tires, which I had to get mounted and balanced. Got drag radials in the back. Finally got my inspection sticker. A full MSD ignition system, Pro Billet MSD distributor, MSD blaster 2 coil, MSD wires. Got an MSD 6AL box that you can adjust your rev limiter, along with a start step box, which allows you to turn down your timing, so when you engage the nitrous, it automatically pulls timing out of the motor. So that's good, and you can also retard the timing for when you go to start it too. Moving to the inside, interior is pretty nice. All of this was burned up when we first got the car. Put the shifter in, the cable. I gotta get another cable because this one just ain't gonna work. Basically, all these gauges right here was just $1,100 on their own. I have a fuel gauge. Now, just remind you, I filled up my 10-gallon tank this morning, and make sure the camera's clean. Filled up my 10-gallon tank this morning before I went about 10 miles down the road, and you see where it sits. Have a volt gauge, my tachometer. And I had a guy put all this stuff in for me because he had to rewire the whole car because all this was burned up. Windshield was busted, just everything was cooked. Had him put in the gauges for me. He put the tachometer separate from the shift light. Put tachometer in there, mounted shift light here. I got my speedometer there, which, as you see, I only got 27 miles on this build. I have my water temp gauge, have my oil pressure gauge. I have an air fuel mixture ratio gauge, which the reason why it's moving is because there's no sensor hooked to it. But when I do get it hooked up, I'll be able to tune my carburetor a little bit better. I got a nitrous gauge so I can read my pressure from my bottle. And then I got a trans temp gauge. And then I got my ignition control panel right here, which controls everything. Now, I do plan on driving this on the street, and some of y'all are probably asking, well, how in the world, where's your deal that's going to keep somebody from stealing your car? Because all you can do is come in here, flip some switches, start it, and take off with it. Well, first off, I have my ignition right here, the OEM ignition. If I turn that off, it locks the steering wheel. So that's one anti-theft device. Second one is locking doors. I changed all my key lock cylinders to make sure they work, so I'm able to lock my doors. Yes, they can probably jimmy this out and unlock my doors and take off, but that's if they remember to hit the power switch, which at this point a lot of people are not gonna remember to a lot of people ain't gonna remember to hit that little power switch to turn the car on. But if they do, at that point, there's still one little secret device I have hidden on the car, which I will not disclose, but it requires a special key. And without that special key, this car will not start. So that's how this car cannot get stolen. They might be able to get around it, but nothing can be theft proof. Nothing. Basically, you can take all the precautions you can to try to stop somebody from taking it, and eventually trying to make them take more time to try to get what they want to get. And at which point most thieves, they give up after the first or second try because they don't want to get caught. So basically I have 1, 2, and then the power switch in the back, that's 3, and then my secret device, which I am not going to disclose, is 4. So by the time they get that unlocked, jimmy this out, and then nothing works, damn, there's got to be a power switch somewhere. If they go that far, kudos to them. But they still got to find my secret device that I have hidden in order to make this car work. So I'm the only one that knows about it. There's nobody else that knows about it. So that's one good thing about that. Now, with that being said, we're going to move back to the trunk. That's my drag radials right there. And that's my rear end, which I've built. And I'm still currently under a break-in on that. And then we're going to go to... I've made a video about me putting these in, which were kind of hard. Now we're going to move to the trunk of the car, which was a lot of work in itself. So this is my fuel tank. It's my nitrous bottle, which is empty. And I had to go get another battery yesterday because I had a little red Optima battery in here and it just was not cutting it. It really struggled turning this car over with 190 psi compression and a billet racing starter on top of that. My 10-gallon fuel cell. I got a primary pump for the motor. That's my other pump for the nitrous system. So it's dual fuel pumps. Completely, totally different fuel systems except for the fuel tank. The fuel tank is the only thing these two pumps share. Everything from that, everything's separate. That's my fuel line for the nitrous pump. That's my fuel line for the motor. Both systems have a filter before and after the pump. And which are these little things right here. Are kind of big. I got a little tiny fuel leak right here. I gotta change this fitting, which I have already. I just ain't changed it yet. That's the other fuel filter, and then the other two are underneath here. So they're reusable, cleanable fuel filters. What I plan on doing is trying to polish this up, make it look all shiny and stuff. But this is basically my trunk setup. I wasn't able to put my battery clamp on here because the rods ain't long enough. I had to go with a bigger battery because that small one just was not cutting it. So, other than that, I still have some bugs I need to work out on it. I gotta change my shift cable. I gotta figure out why it's running a little bit on the hot side. You know, it's running about 195 and it's like 50 degrees right now. So I gotta figure that out. I've taken out the thermostat. I rotated my water pump, which did help. The only thing, the next thing I'm gonna do is probably switch out my hose and get a shorter one because it's kind of in a weird position right now. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's in a very weird position. So, but that concludes the tour of 73 Nova. Decided to name it Black Widow, and I do have a custom plate being made for it. Next thing, I don't know why people are driving by. Next thing to get done after I finish working out the bugs in this car is to finish that thing right there. So, videos of that will be coming soon. I finally got me a job making decent money. So, that's the only reason why I was able to finish this. So, but until next time, peace out. I gotta go do some work. Take it easy. God bless.